Welcome all. Now we are going to work with the Apache Camel with Spring Boot. Okay. So what all topic we are going to cover today? First we'll see what is Apache Camel and what is the use of it. Okay. Second, we'll create a project and send message to queue and also consume it. So what we will do, we'll create two microservices. One is the producer and one is the consumer. And we'll create one ActiveMQ. I will show you how ActiveMQ looks like. So the producer will send message to ActiveMQ and the second consumer will consume that message from the ActiveMQ. So this we are going to create a project. After that, what we have to do? Yeah, so for creating the project, we need to add some dependencies that we will do while creating the project. So let's start from one by one. So what is first? The first thing, what is Apache Camel and what is the use of it? So friends, Apache Camel is an integration framework. It provides route functionalities and helps to connect different frameworks. So this is the three important points of Apache Camel. So let me explain what does it means. So let's suppose I have different microservices. Okay, microservice 1, microservice 2, and microservice 3. Let's suppose microservice 1 is written in Java language, 2 is written in .NET language, and 3 is written in Python language. So if I want to transfer one message from microservice 1 to microservice 2 and from microservice 2 to 3 or 3 to 2 or 2 to 1, any microservices. So in that time, what I have to do, there are two ways to perform. The first thing is do marshalling or unmarshalling. Okay. And the second thing is use Apache Camel. So if we are going for marshalling and unmarshalling, on that time, we have to perform large number of operations. We have to write so many large number of calls. And after that also, we don't know whether our object will marshal or unmarshal. Okay. But Apache Camel provides a integration framework. So that integration means different languages can work together, right? So it provides an integration framework pattern where we can send messages from one framework to another framework. So it provides a routing functionality so that we can route our messages from one framework to another framework. Okay. So this is the actual definition of Apache Camel. So these 3 points are important and this is the example. Okay. Now come to the second point. Okay, so let's start doing the practical things. So here what we will do, we will create two microservices. One is producer and one is consumer. And we'll create one ActiveMQ also. I will show you how ActiveMQ looks like. Okay. Now come to the IntelliJ. And if you see here, I have created a basic project, spring-boot-camel-producer. And one more project, one more microservice I have created, that is spring-boot-camel-consumer. Okay, so let's start with producer first. So here, if you see, I don't have anything here, only one basic project I created. And here, if you see, this is my main class with public class applications, public static void main, and I annotated this class as Spring Boot application. That's it, nothing else I have. Okay, so first go to pom.xml. We'll create the first we'll add the dependencies. So if you see here, I have mentioned here add camel and ActiveMQ dependencies. So we have to add Maven dependencies, and also one thing is very important. Make sure both camel and ActiveMQ version is same. If you will not provide version same, then you will get the error. Okay. So come to the producer service. If you see here I have given these two dependencies, that is camel spring boot starter and camel ActiveMQ starter. And if you see the camel.version, the version is 3.11.1. Okay. And for camel spring boot starter, the version is same, and camel ActiveMQ starter, the version is same. Okay. So this is my pom.xml. After that, we have to add ActiveMQ URL in properties file, right? So we need to add this ActiveMQ URLs. I will show you how I know the ActiveMQ URL, but for now I have added in the properties file. If you see here in properties file, I have added, this is my spring.activemq broker URL. This is my key and this is my value. So I am going to run ActiveMQ in this port. Okay, I will show you how I'm going to run. And this is the application port. I want to this application to be run in 8181. Okay, so let's write the code. So create one package here. Let's suppose I want to give the package name is route and create here one class. So the class name is, let's suppose, ActiveMQ-producer. Okay. So the first thing we have to remember, that this class should be annotated with @component. So use annotation of the component. And while routing this, we need to extend route builder. Okay. So route builder is a uh, it will provide some I mean it's an interface which is having some methods. So if you see I'm getting error here, so because I have to add unimplemented methods, so use unimplemented methods here. So this is my unimplemented method. It is public void configure, and here I have to write the logic. So what I am going to do from one microservice to another microservice. So this microservice work is to produce some messages to the queue, right? So from I am going to use a timer here for now, so that we'll write the logic like every 5 seconds the message will be go to the queue. So use here timer and then ActiveMQ question mark, and here we have to provide the how much time I want to put a message to the queue. Okay, so let's suppose I want to produce a message with 5 seconds, so 5000 milliseconds. Okay, and this should be ActiveMQ timer, ActiveMQ and timer. Okay, so from here I want to what I have to do, I want to send message to queue, right? ActiveMQ. So for that what we have to do, ActiveMQ. This is the syntax how to write from and to. So I'm going to use the same syntax, and here I have to provide my ActiveMQ name. So let's suppose my queue name will be my ActiveMQ queue. Okay. So this is the key. This one is key. Here I use this one is the key timer, and this is also a key. This is the user defined name. You can use any name because with this name our queue will be created to the ActiveMQ. Okay. So from where this is the one endpoint, from this is the second endpoint. From timer I am using some timer so that some message will be produced to my MQ, and where I am sending that messages to ActiveMQ. And here we can transform something or a body also. Let's suppose I want to read some messages and I want to transfer there, and then I want to write some messages. So for that what we have to do, dot transform dot constant. Let's suppose I want to send some message in the console, like I mean in the queue. So what is my message? First active MQ message. So this message I am going to write in ActiveMQ. Okay. So that is the work of the producer. Now we have to create the ActiveMQ, right? So and there we have to create this queue also, right? This queue. So let's create the ActiveMQ first. So what we have to do, for that we am going to we need to install and run the ActiveMQ. So for that I'm going to use the Docker. So what I suggest, if you know the Docker, then continue with this video. If you don't know that about the Docker, then I have created another video for Docker. So pause it here and go and watch that Docker within 10 minutes and then continue from here. But if you know, then it's fine. So for installing the Docker, the command is this one. Okay. So let me copy this one and let me paste this one here. So it will take some time for installing it. So if you copy this one and if you search in the Google, you will see this command that ActiveMQ port number is 61616 and this is Docker port number 81616. So if you do in Google, you will find the first thing is this one. And if you click here, you will be able to see for ActiveMQ, this is the image name. Okay. The same thing I did here. Yeah. So if you see here, ActiveMQ web console available at this port number, right? So copy this port number. And if you see here in our properties file, the same port number we have given, right? TCP localhost 61616, right? So let's go to the console and type the URL here. This should be localhost. And yeah, see here, our ActiveMQ web console is ready. Now go to manage ActiveMQ broker and go to here queues, because we are sending message to queues, right? So go to queues. And you see here I don't have any producer or consumer or any messages, right? So let's start this application. So this is our logic. From timer, after 5 milliseconds, this I want to send this message to my ActiveMQ, and this queue is still not created. If you see here, there is no queue. So once I will run this application, the queue will be created here and message will be produced there. So let's do it. So it's starting the project. So if you see, this is very simple, right? I mean, while doing marshalling and unmarshalling, and there are lots of steps, but Camel provides only 3 lines. Within these 3 lines of code, we can send message from one framework to another framework. Okay, so this is starting. Yeah, the application is started, and you can see here the application is started. You can see here it started route this ActiveMQ timer. Okay, now go to the console, web console. Go to web console and refresh here, and you can see this is my queue, my ActiveMQ queue. Same thing we have provided here, my ActiveMQ queue. So this queue is created, and after 5 seconds, we are producing this message, right? So let's see there how many messages are there. Currently is 5. Then after 5, refresh it. See, it's 9. Again 5 seconds. If you refresh, then it will be 10. See, 10. Again 5 seconds. If you will refresh, then it will be 11. See, 11, 12. So like that, after 5 seconds, a message will be produced here. Okay, 13. So if you see here, there is number of consumers is 0, right? Because the producer we have created. Now we have to create another microservice that will consume this message. Okay, this microservice is producing the message to where? To ActiveMQ. Now we'll create another microservice which will consume the message from this queue. And if after that you will see the number of consumer is 1. Currently the number of consumer is 0. Okay. So see, after every 5 seconds it will continue producing the message. Let's create another microservice. So this is my consumer, and here if you see here, nothing is here, only a main application. And in the pom.xml, if you see, same thing I have given here. It is same dependency, spring-camel-spring-boot starter and camel ActiveMQ starter. And in properties file also, if you see, the same thing I have given here, the ActiveMQ broker, and this application will run the port number 9000. Okay, so let's create one package for consumer, and we'll consume the message. Route, create class here. So ActiveMQ consumer. Okay. So again, I have to extend route builder here. The same thing we did there. Extends route builder, and annotate this class with @component. Okay. Now add unimplemented methods. Okay. Then now here we have to consume. From where we have to consume? We all know that we have provided our messages to where? Queue. So from here we have to consume the messages, right? So the same thing we have to do here. So let's come to the consumer and write from where we have to consume? From ActiveMQ we have to consume, right? So ActiveMQ And what is my queue name? My queue name is what is my queue name? My queue name is, if you go here, my active MQ queue. Okay. So provide here my active MQ queue. That's it. Nothing else. From here, I'm going to read the queue. I'm going to consume the queue. And for checking whether we are consuming or not, let's write some logs so that once we will run this application, once it is started to consuming the messages, we will get those things in the logs. So dot to, I want to print the log. What? So this is the key. This is the key which is compulsory we have to write. This is the key which is compulsory we have to write. This is my queue name. It will be any name. And after that, this is my value. So I can use any value. Let's suppose got consumed message from ActiveMQ. Okay, and use semicolon here. That's it. Let's run this project. And currently, before running this project, currently, if you see here, I don't have any consumers. See, number of consumers is 0. Okay, and see, my active MQ message is 57. And we'll start consuming this. Let's run this project consumer. And once it will start consuming it, we will get this message to console. Okay. So you can see, right, from producing the message and consuming the message, how easy is it? So Apache Camel provides the functionality so that we can write a less number of code and we can easily produce the message and we can easily consume the message with these two keywords. The from is one endpoint, the to is one point, and this is my keyword, and this is my random values. You can provide any values. This is also a keyword which we have to provide, and this is any values we have to provide. The same thing we did in the producer also. So let's wait for starting the message. Yeah, yeah. So you can see here, it started out this one. And if you see here, first active MQ message, this is my producer message, right? And if you go to the, if you go to the console, you will be see the consumers. So refresh it. See, number of pending messages 0. All messages are consumed. Number of consumer is 1. Message NQ is 78. Message DQ is 78. That means message produced 78 and message consumed 78. You see here, number of pending messages 0. Refresh it. You will see the count will be increased. So every 5 second, producer will produce a message. See, 83 message produced, 83 message consumed, right? If you refresh up again, after 5 seconds, if you 84 messages. Again, use 5 seconds, 85 messages, right? So this is the benefit of Apache Camel with the use of, and if you see here, we are getting the message also, got consume message from ActiveMQ, the same thing we have provided here, right? And which message we consume? If you see here, this is my consumer, and which message we consume? Go to here. If you see here, body is first active MQ message. This message we have consumed. And where we have provided this message? We have provided in our producer. We have provided in our producer. This is first active MQ message, and this is my producer class, if you see, right? So this is the all about Apache Camel, Spring Boot, and ActiveMQ. If you have any doubt, so just ping me. I will provide all the solutions for that, and you will find this code to GitHub and GitHub URL I will provide in the description part.